All right, everyone, we're back. It is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I am your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. And appreciate you guys sticking around. Was planning on doing it Monday as usual, but I really wasn't feeling that good yesterday and just couldn't get it done. So glad we are going to get it done today. Still a little under the weather, Marcel, but wanted to get it, obviously, talk about the show with you and get it done today. So, Marcel, what's going on, man?
All good, man. Good to be back and fighting Spurs. Let's put it that way. Long time no card. We finally had one on Saturday. I
Yeah,
don't think it was the most exciting thing
no.
of that day, to be really honest. But yeah, looking forward to talk about next week's or this week's cards on the other podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot to talk about, obviously. We'll do a second podcast after this. We'll do the UFC 283 preview. But we got to recap UFC Vegas 67, and then we'll talk about the UFC 285 probably as well, the announcement there, Marcel. But I think let's just go through the card first and recap it, and then we'll go talk about that because obviously that was arguably bigger news, I would say, than the actual card itself. But
Yeah, it was.
yeah, so let's just go through the card though because I do want to recap it, Marcel. We can go through it fairly quickly, if anything. Let's pull it up here on the screen. What do you think about me pulling it up here, Marcel? Maybe it's just easier that way.
Yeah.
Where is it? Here we go.
As long as you don't pull it off.
Let's just go through the fights. By the way, we got our boy Antoine in the chat. Antoine, yo, what's up, boys? And Adam, I totally feel you. I leave the hospital tomorrow after 5 days being here. Dude, I feel bad for you, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I also haven't been feeling very well lately, dealing with some other stuff, but I hope you feel better, Antoine. I really do.
All
All
the
right, let's
best,
go through
Antoine.
these. Yeah, let's go through these fights, Marcel. Let's start with the main event, obviously. Sean Strickland defeats Nassourdine Imavov. I mean, we talked about it last week. We kind of broke it down live, remember?
Yeah.
For me, it really no surprise at all that he won. It was my initial thought he'd win a decision. That's exactly what happened. Just more experience in the octagon, I think, played a factor, and also the weight too. Marcel, he was the bigger, heavier guy, and also everyone when he was saying in the media like, oh, I was just snowboarding and I wasn't training. I don't necessarily believe him, Marcel. I'll be honest with you. I don't really believe him there. I do think he was actually training for the fight a little bit because I always think he's in the gym, right? He's the guy that never
So
leaves the gym. Go ahead.
he talked to my colleague Dennis as well, and he said like, I was only he said I was only back in training 2 days when Mick called me, and then at a certain moment my colleague is like, but you're always in shape. He was like, yeah, I was actually after 2 or 3 days after my fight I was back in train. I was back
See?
training, but I wasn't really training for a fight, he said. So I
Yeah.
was just like doing condition training and that kind of stuff.
And that helped him in the fight, because it was a
Yeah.
5-rounder, Marcel, and he looked good in this fight. Wins 4 of the 5 rounds, arguably. I guess the 5th round is the one he lost, but he won. He pretty much controlled the fight,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good win for him. Obviously, puts him back in the top. I guess he's still in the top 10, obviously.
Yeah.
John, hey John, what's up? He says Strickland fight played out exactly how I thought it would. Yeah, same. I mean, it really did. So for me, no surprise. I think Imavov's a good fighter. I do think he would have beaten Gastelum because of the size difference, but Strickland's just a different beast. As I talked about last week or so. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's the same height, same reach, and everything. So the experience, I think, in the octagon helped him in this fight, the 5-round experience, and it helps him bounce back. He says he wants a title shot. He's not getting it, but I'm curious to see who he gets next. I think a good fight would be Whitaker. I think that'd be a good fight. I know he's ranked 2 and Strickland's ranked 7 right now, but I do think that's a good fight. What do you think about that fight? Would you like to see that one?
Yeah, I actually had 3 options in mind. You can do Paulo Costa, but the thing is with the contract with Paulo Costa, we don't know. Then I was thinking Marvin Vettori, Delice winner, but Delice is training at Extreme Couture often, I think.
Yep.
And he had Curtis in his corner, so it's not going to happen. So yeah, I actually also come on Whitaker because the thing is with Whitaker, it's really hard for him to find opponents. We're going to see probably Izzy against Pereira too. So with Whitaker not having an opponent, it makes sense, and Sean is always ready. So
exactly, that's why I think it's a good fight. So maybe you could put it on that card in the Jones and Gone card. Maybe you could put it on that card on the like opening up the pay-per-view or something. I don't know. Maybe it would probably just be a fight night main event, but it's too bad that Whitaker's not fighting in Perth. Get some more comments here. What's up, Marcus? He says Strickland performed better than expected. Short notice, cardio was good. I wish I considered betting Strickland. He was definitely the value side at plus money, that's for sure. Strickland, Chris Curry went go-karting with Marvin Vittori. It's funny.
Stop go-karting and stop going to fun things with guys who are on the roster at the top 10.
for sure. And we got Antoine asking about Umar, but we'll talk about him in a few minutes, Antoine. Let's just go through these other fights. Yeah, I mean, anyways, it was a good performance by him. Anything else you want to say, or you want to move on to the next one?
No, not really. Well, it wasn't an amazing fight, but it was a good fight by Strickland. You know, solid.
He fought smart. He fought a smart fight for once. All right, co-main event, Dan Ige looked great, knocks out Damon Jackson. I got to be honest, I'm a little surprised by this. I mean, I know Damon's been knocked out before, but Dan's not really a knockout artist. I know he knocked out Gavin Tucker, like, what was that, 2 years ago now? But he's not really known for his, like, power.
Also the Scottish guy, right?
Which guy?
That Scottish dude.
No,
Danny Henry.
Oh, Danny Henry?
That was a sub.
No, he knocked out Mike Santiago, too. So those are the only 2 knockouts. But, yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised by how good he looked in this fight because he, you know, quite frankly, hadn't looked great, but again, you know, the level of competition, right? You look at who he lost to, top guys, and that's something you always have to keep in mind. I did think Damon would win this fight. I thought he would use his grappling more, but he just really couldn't get the fight to the ground, Marcel. You look at really, he only attempted 1 takedown too. A little surprised he didn't really just sell out for the shot, and then pays with a knockout loss. Any thoughts?
I think Ige was overall just better, man. Standing and grappling, I think, as well. He could prevent the grappling, and I think Ige is also a good grappler. So I was really like, we can't say surprised, you know, because if we're really honest, Ige lost 3 fights, but against 3 good fighters, you know, against 3 guys who are ranked. And I mean, Movsar Evloev is another bad loss. Ahmed is fighting for an interim title, and Korean Zombie has been in the top 5 for how long now? Not, but for how long he's been there. So it's honestly are not bad losses. And for me, it was like Damon Jackson. He's on the roll. You know, he looks really good in his fights. And the Pat Sabatini fight was really impressive to me how we finished him there. So I was like, maybe have the momentum he can put through, and then Ige doesn't have the momentum at all. But then you see, man, that Dan Ige has a lot of qualities, you know, and it came out in this fight. He looked great from the start. It didn't give Damon any chance. I think safe. Saud said to Damon in between rounds, like, dude, you have to take this fight to the ground. We're not winning the standing battle. But Damon couldn't take it to the ground. So, yeah, good for Ige, man. Good win. A very needed bounce-back win after 3 losses. And I'm happy for him, to be honest, man, because he's a good dude as well.
Yeah, he gets the bonus. Well-deserved, for sure. Got some other guys in the chat. What's up, Sinister? How's it going, man? Beercho, what's up, man? Happy New Year to you as well. What's up, Hype? How's it going, man? Gorilla. A lot of regulars here, which is good. I appreciate you guys joining us on short notice on Tuesday.
For
like
sure.
I said, I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I couldn't do it. Let's go to the next fight here. Roman Kopylov.
Yeah,
look great. Marcel gets a knockout win over Puna Soriano. I'm not gonna say I'm like shocked because like I think this guy's pretty good, but like I thought Puna would be a little bit more effective in this fight and just really just kind of got like I don't know. Can we see how it classed a little bit on the feet? I mean, the Kopylov was just better like on the feet, right?
I mean, finally, Bulky Chase is showing us what he could do, you know. I remember when he came in the UFC, he lost 2 in a row, and I was really surprised he lost to Carl Roberson by submission because Carl is pretty much known as a striker. Yep. And you actually called it, I think. I think you picked Carl in that fight, not?
I think so, but it was so long ago now. It's like 4 years ago. Crazy.
I think you did, but I was surprised then the Duraya fight. He did better in the 3rd round, I remember, in that fight, you know. And after last time, a good win over Di Chirico, pretty close fight until then, but he got it done. And now that Puna Soriano win is a big win, in my opinion, you know. And the way he did it with some beautiful kicks in the body to deliver. Yeah, and Puna, man, I really expected Puna to come in crazy, knocking him out in the 1st round, you know, but nothing like that, dude. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Puna's night, but he didn't look good in this fight at all. And I gotta be honest, man, in his last fight, I think it was against Dalcha, which he fought, he had a bad 1st round as well, remember? And he knocked him out early 2nd round. So the thing is, like, I don't know, man. Puna is kind of a hit or miss guy sometimes, and this was definitely a miss. But yeah, good for Kopylov. Happy for him. Was the last fight on his contract, and will definitely get re-signed by the UFC, I think.
Yeah, you have to wonder if Puna gets cut. He's lost 3 of his last 4, Marcel.
I don't hope so, man. He's an entertaining fighter.
He is. Maybe he'll give him 1 more. He did win a bonus his last fight. I don't mind him staying around. I'm just saying, like, he's lost 3 or 4, including Nick Maximov, who I thought he won that fight, to be honest with you, but, you know.
Honestly, if they would cut him, he can easily go to Bellator and fight on those Hawaii cards. He can be a big star there, I think.
100% agree with that. We'll see. Hopefully they don't cut him because I like him.
I also don't hope so.
Middleweight's going to be really fun this year, says John. Kopylov, Bo Nickel, Abus, Magomedov, Sharon Magomedov, Joe Pyfer, Rodriguez, Barral, Petrosian. Yeah, it's becoming a division, that's for sure. All right, next fight here. Raquel Pennington defeats Caitlin Vieira via split decision. A controversial one, Marcel. A lot of people thought Vieira won the fight. I thought she was going to win the fight. I don't know about this one. What do you think of the decision here?
When I hear it was a split decision, I was like, let's see. We're going to see right now. I picked Vieira here, Pennington was the other. And I was like, this is the start of the year. Let's see if we get another fucking year like they had last year where I have all wrong split decisions the whole damn time. And yeah, again, so we're going to get another fucking year in 2023 probably. I think Vieira won 2 out of the 3 rounds. On the other side, it was close, and Vieira is only herself to blame again. That she loses split decision just against Yana Kunitskaya is also a fight I thought she won, and she got fucked there as well. I think she didn't
kind of got lucky against Holly Holm.
Exactly. She got lucky against Holly Holm. But the thing is, like, this was huge, If she won this fight, she would have probably in pole position for a title shot, And right now you got Raquel Pennington. I don't know if the UFC really wants to have that rematch with Nunes. I think they prefer a fight with Nunes against Aldana, although Aldana is number 5th. And Raquel beat her in the past via split decision in 2017 or 18. So it's difficult, man. But I don't really feel the appealing for Raquel Pennington, Amanda Nunes too. I really don't, But let's be honest, man. Those featherweight and bantamweight divisions in women's MMA fucking shallow, dude. It's like, it's like,
I know
this fight deserves to be on the main card. It's number 2 against number 5. But I was absolutely not looking forward to this fight to be on the main card because I knew from the get-go it would have been a decision, likely be a close decision, and one of the two would likely get a close decision, like I said. So not really something I was really looking forward to. But yeah, I mean, good for Raquel. She won fifth consecutive win. And let's see what the UFC does next for her.
Yeah, I don't really want to see her fight for the belt again, but I mean, there's just not a lot of contenders right now. I'd rather see Aldana get the shot, because that's a new fight. But I think Vieira, for sure, if she won this fight, she was getting the title shot, So she kind of like screwed herself in a way. But, like Marcus, I thought she also won the fight. But, when it's that close, it was pretty close, Numbers show it was close too. So I'm not surprised really that the judges went the other way, but I don't think she won the fight. Pennington. I thought Vieira won. Anyways, next fight here, Umar Nurmagomedov just gets a brutal knockout over Raoni Barcelos. I mean, I'm not surprised he won. I think we all picked him to win, but for him to knock him out is just beyond impressive. And he said I think he wants to fight in that card in Vegas, the Gon Jones card, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, just after we recap this. I mean, at this point, he's going to have to fight someone in the top 10. I'm just looking at the rankings. He is ranked number 11. So you look at the top 10, he's going to fight someone in there. Song Yadong, Pedro Munoz, Ricky Simon are the 3 guys ranked right above him. I think one of those 3 guys makes sense. What do you think, man?
I was also thinking about Umar. It's difficult, I think. What does the UFC want? Do you want to fast track him, or do you want to give him some guys like some how do you say that? Like some veterans, You got Pedro Munoz in front of him. You got Dominic Cruz in front of him. I don't think Cruz takes the fight, to be really honest. I mean, he's a legend, Why should he fight Umar? I think the perfect fight for the UFC to make against Umar is Merab Dvalishvili. That's what I think. For the simple reason is that Merab, I know he's number 3 in the division, but Merab doesn't want to fight the champion Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain is out for some time with an injury, I think, So that he won't be close to a title fight anytime soon. So give him Merab, and if Merab wins, it sucks for the UFC because he doesn't want to fight Sterling. But if Umar wins, at least you got a new contender over there. You know what I mean? And many guys are already matched up with Marlon against Chito Vera against Sandhagen. Maybe you could do Song Yadong, although I think I would heavily favor Umar in that fight. But I like the Merab against Umar fight. I think that would be a really fun one. And I want to see how Merab does against somebody who is really good in wrestling as well,
I just think Merab, he's won, I think, 9 straight fights, right? He's right there for a title shot, even though he's not the most exciting guy, right?
He doesn't want to fight for the title as long as Sterling is there. That's a problem.
Yeah, because his friend's the champ. I know. Yeah. He's in a weird spot, but I don't think they make the fight. But I mean, if they did, it'd be interesting. That's for sure, right? What would the odds be for Umar versus Merab? Ooh. I bet you Umar would be favored, honestly, just because the last name and also just the hype. Rob's great though. Like he's good at what he does, right? But you're right, Marcel. It's a different matchup, right? Like because this guy might be able to like stop the takedowns, stop him from pushing against the fence, and then you see the fight on the feet. Although, yeah, because remember Rob against what was it Marlon Moraes? He kind of got hurt in that fight, right? So yeah, I think it's an interesting fight. I don't know if they do it though. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Javid Bashar defeats Madeus Mendonça. I thought this could be an upset. Obviously, was wrong on this one, but it is what it is. Basharat's great. I'm not surprised he won. I mean, like to me, it was just kind of. I thought it was a little tricky to pick, but obviously, it didn't turn out to be that way. First round was kind of close, and that's pretty much it. After that, it was all Basharat. I mean, the grappling obviously was a big factor in this fight, and guy's good, man. No doubt about it. He's won 3 straight fights in the octagon now. He's due for a step up as well at 135. He might get a ranked opponent. What do you think of his performance? He looked good.
I think Javid looked really good, and the thing is, like, Mendonça was like doing really weird in the weigh-ins. He was first like he was trying to scare him, then he was making the gun sign or whatever, and then he tried to shake his head, and Javid was like, "What the hell you want now?" And you saw after the second round, Javid gave him the gun sign back to his head. I mean, Javid, really good fighter, man. I think we already knew he was pretty good, but he was impressive in my opinion, and he's one of these younger guys, undefeated guys, alongside with his brother. His brother is still to make his debut. Looking forward for him what's next. And another bantamweight, which is on the rise, that division is sick. The division is absolutely sick.
Sure is, man. Abdul Razak Al Hassan gets a nice knockout win over Claudio Ribeiro. I'm a little surprised like how dominant he was in this fight. I mean, like I thought Ribeiro looked great in contender, but again, you go from contender to the UFC, it's a big step up. And Abdul is obviously a guy who's knocked out some people before in the octagon, so I guess really shouldn't be surprised. He's 1, 2, 3. All of his wins are by knockout in the UFC, all 6 of them. So yeah, I mean, he looked good, and he didn't get a bonus, but I think Dana said that he was going to give him and Charles Johnson like some extra money. Yeah. But any thoughts? I mean, he looked good, obviously. Did you pick him in this fight? I can't remember. Did you pick him?
I picked Ribeiro.
Okay, me too.
The thing I want to say about Ribeiro, really fun fighter in my opinion, but that corner needs to stop.
Yeah.
That corner really needs to stop. They are blatantly annoying, and also the walkout, like this girl, this woman which was with him. We don't need 2 minutes of you talking to him. Do that backstage. You know what I mean? Really fun. Fuck off. Really annoying. Really, like I said, fun fighter to watch, but that corner needs to stop. Al Hassan, I really enjoyed Al Hassan's post-fight press conference about Joaquin Buckley. I don't know if you saw that.
What did he say? I didn't see it. What did he say?
Oh, he said like literally like this. So he's like, I'm always really like respectful about my opponent. So I'm really looking forward to what's next. And to said somebody, would you like to have a rematch with Joaquin Buckley? Yes. He said, yes, that fucking pussy, he said. He had such a big mouth. And he's like, let's trade. And then he keeps taking me down. That bitch. He said, that bitch, I want a rematch. Give me that bitch. And then somebody is like, great performance, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, thank you very much. And then somebody is like, about Joaquin Buckley. What about that bitch?
That's funny. No, I didn't see it, but I remember the fight. Obviously,
you have to really watch it back, dude.
I'll have to check it out. There's a question here: if you do Merab and Umar and Stern lose the belt, could you warrant Umar Telshaw after? I think so, for sure. If they want to push him, like Marcel said, if they want to fast track him or take him slow, it looks like they're fast tracking him a little bit because Barcelos is really good. I don't know if Barcelos is ranked, but he was like probably like the 16th guy or something, All right, Mateusz Rebecki defeats Nick Fiore. No surprise he won, but I thought he was going to finish the fight. And this guy Fiore was pretty tough. I'll give him credit, man. He survived. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I have to say I was kind of disappointed in Rebecki not finishing him, to be really honest, dude. I think Fiore did really good in the first 2-3 minutes, but you saw at a certain moment he was tired, and he took a short notice fight, and he went to distance with Rebecki. I don't think many people thought he would go the distance with him, so that's a good win. That's a good win, I would say. That's still a loss, but it's at least not a bad result, not a worse result than we thought. So we'll see what next for him. He probably gets a little bit more of an easier opponent in this next fight, but he went through this, and I thought he would have been finished. So good on him,
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, man. I thought he would finish him too, but he didn't get the finish. Saw a video saying Tracy and Brian broke up. I think so. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why she didn't have that fight. I have no idea what's going on with her, but that's too bad. All right. Alan Nascimento, I mean, to me, he was like the lock of the card, defeats Carl Hernandez. I hate using that word, but I mean, like, I just didn't see any way this other guy would win. Like, I didn't even know why they made this fight. Alan Nascimento was just way better than him, and standing rear naked choke Marcel. So very impressive. Obviously gets the bonus. I think he should be fighting someone in rank next, don't you?
Yeah, why not? I mean, arguably, you can make an argument for him that he won all three of his UFC fights. You know what I mean? Because the Ulambekov fight was super close, I think. Yeah, why not? I mean, Tyson Nam got ranked today at number 15. I mean, you can.
Why? Because they took Molina out? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Did they cut Molina? They cut him, right?
The thing is, I'm not sure. You know, you see the UFC roster watch, but there's an automatic generated Twitter account. You know, so he's like taking out of the pool, but that's possibly because he is suspended right now.
Same with Carlos Moda, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
He also tested positive. Dan Argueta defeats Nick Aguirre. No surprise there, Marcel. I think we all knew that. That was another fight that like really wasn't hard to pick. And honest, I mean, like the other guy, you know, again, tough, took it on short notice, and survived. But you know, pretty much got beaten for 3 rounds. And then opening up the card, Charles Johnson defeats Jimmy Flick by knockout. Jimmy Flick looked pretty bad in this fight, and I guess that's why the line was so high, because a lot of people were wondering why is the line like minus 500 or whatever. But I guess that's why. Any other thoughts on those last 2 fights?
The Argueta fight against Aguirre fight, it was like kind of what you expected, you know, a lot of the ground. I think Argueta had a lot of possibilities to stop to win the fight, you know, with stoppage, but he didn't. But I think he was happy with getting his first UFC win, so I kind of understand it, you know. And Johnson Flick, I think it was an early stoppage, although Johnson was almost finishing him, but Kerry Hadley was really quick. I was like, why are you so quick? Yeah. And then the funny thing is, like Charles Johnson putting on his Instagram today, that was kind of an early stoppage. I wanted to have a knockout, not a TKO, but I'll take it. So I like, yeah, okay.
Jamie just didn't look good in this fight. He didn't look like he was ready to come back. I mean, it was the first fight in almost 2.5 years, just over 2 years, I guess. Too bad. I mean, I like watching him fight, but you know, you take that much time off, it's hard to come back, especially against a guy like Johnson's been so active. Anyways, overall, I mean, it wasn't the best card, let's be honest with you, but there were some good highlights on it overall. Anything else you want to say about this, or should we move on?
I think we should move on. I think we should talk a little bit about the news that came out and actually came out before. I think.
So let's talk about that. So right before the card starts, there's a picture floating around on Twitter that John Jones is going to fight Cyril Gane from the T-Mobile Arena. Someone obviously had someone was there in Vegas and took a picture of the billboard. My initial thought was like, this isn't real, like, because obviously, you know, this news came out of nowhere, and then, you know, we talked and you were like, this is what I'm hearing too, right? So it was real, and then obviously the UFC later announces it that night, and Dana White says that someone at the arena blew the announcement and basically spoiled it for everyone. But so John Jones is obviously fighting Cyril Gane, UFC 285, the main event that's in March. And Francis Ngannou has obviously been released. So a lot of news that happened all at once. I'm not surprised it ended this way with Ngannou getting released, because obviously he had a lot of issues with the UFC and his contract finally ran out. And you kind of could tell that he was waiting for the contract to run out at this point. You know, it's just too bad that it ends this way, because, man, all of his wins are by stoppage in the UFC, except for the Gane fight, the last fight. All of his other wins are by stoppage. The guy was an absolute beast. When he came on the scene, Marcel, knocking everyone out, looking like the scariest guy on the planet. The Overeem knockout especially, that was just freaky stuff. And then some of the other ones he had, like the Rosenstruck one a few years ago, was so quick. And the Stipe one too. I mean, that was insane, right? So you look at his resume, the Blades fight, the JDS, Velasquez. I mean, really, like, you look at his resume, he's one of the best heavyweights of all time. There's no doubt about it. It's just too bad it ends this way, but obviously Dana White, you know, and him couldn't get the contract done. They couldn't see eye to eye, and be interesting where he does next. I mean, boxing seems likely, but PFL could also happen. I doubt Bellator. I don't see that really being the case, because I just think there's other options for him with more money, like in boxing. I really think that's kind of where he's going to end up, but it's too bad that this is the way it ends for him, because I personally love watching him fight, and he is the best heavyweight in the world right now, so it's disappointing. But at the same time, you know, I am very intrigued by this Gane and John Jones fight. Obviously, like it's a very interesting fight. So, yeah, I mean, a lot to think about. Anyways, you can go ahead, Marcel. Just give your thoughts on the whole situation.
Yeah, so that was a crazy thing, right? What happened on the T-Mobile Arena. It's like, how can that happen? I kind of knew because I kind of got the feeling it was a legit picture because we also saw the video after that as well. So it didn't look like it was Photoshop, or you're really good at photoshopping, which is possible, you know. Um, yeah, what can you say about it? I mean, I'm looking forward to see Jones back. And to be really honest, it didn't really matter for me if it wasn't Ngannou or Gan. You know, I think it's both great matchups. Although, of course, Ngannou is champion, so it would have been funner to see actually if Jones wins. And I say if, I don't say when, but if Jones wins,
Yeah,
uh, that he could actually get the belt of the champion. You know, now it's vacant. Now it's kind of different. You know. Um, then that the press conference by Dana, where he was like kind of downgrading Francis, like he wants to have a lot of money for easy fights. I was like, shut up. You know, kind of weird. You know, I don't really buy that. You know, and it's said enough. I don't know if you saw the interview with Gan with the Nagano with Ariel Helwani earlier.
I didn't
Um,
see it, but I saw a lot of
uh,
people tweeting about it.
Yeah, so Ngannou said like, or Ariel asked him like, did the UFC reach out to you after that press conference? And he said no, only Mick Maynard reached out, the
Yeah, I
only
saw
guy.
you
And
tweet
he's
about that, and you said
yeah,
Mick's like always a solid guy to everyone.
yeah, man. Everybody I talk to, they say like Mick is really easy to talk to and to do business with. Um, Probably the easiest of all. But yeah, I mean, what can we do about it? We will enjoy probably the pay-per-view, and yeah, it sucks, you know, to see Francis go. I mean, I would have rather see him in the UFC than somewhere else. But if he can get more money somewhere else and make even a better living than he has now, I'm all for it. You know,
Of
I'm
course,
all for it.
you always want the fighters to do well financially for
Definitely.
sure. Glenn, what's up, man? Thoughts on Jones only being tested 4 times last year, this size in history? I mean, it's not a lot of tests, obviously, compared to like year he gets tested like every week. It seems like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good point. It's a really good point. We'll have to see how he looks at heavyweight. It's going to be interesting. Oops. Marcus, my early lean is gone. If he's Jones, I don't see the explosive Jones versus Smith and Santos. Year later, heavyweight and older, I don't see Jones being gone. It's my lean. Honestly, my initial lean is gone too. But like Jones I think he's the best fighter of all time, in my opinion. But 3 years away is a long time, and comes in here, gets gone. Who's just so well rounded, right? Like it's not an easy fight, but I mean, at the same time, like it's John Jones, right? So I wouldn't. I'm looking at the odds right now. It's -110 each. It's literally a pick 'em. So like I don't think anyone really knows how this fight's going to play out. For me, it's just a fight I'm just going to watch and see how it plays out. But I right now, my initial lean, Marcel, would be gone. What's your initial lean, like right off the bat?
I was thinking as well, but at the same time, if
Yeah,
Jones can take him down and can use his
exactly.
wrestling on him, then you know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
difficult. And we don't know how Jones comes back after 3 years and now the new weight class as well, you know, with more
Yep.
muscle or more whatever, you know. So
Yep.
that's just super difficult to
I
that's
completely
what makes
agree.
it an intriguing fight, you know.
I completely agree. I mean, it's a very interesting fight. I think it's like when I heard about it, I was just like, wow, this is exactly what I want to see. You want to see these fights where you really don't know who's going to win. I like those kind of fights.
Of course.
Like obviously it's always great to have fights where like you're like, okay, this guy's gonna knock someone out, and you can bet on it,
I mean,
but there's always fights like this where like it's just very intriguing. Like I don't really know who's gonna win, honestly. But my initial
no
slight lean is gone. That's my initial.
nobody likes -700 fights, you know
That's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. Exactly, like those Bellator prelims or whatever.
I
So
didn't want to say it, but you did.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's interesting. If anyone else has any thoughts on this, we'll take them. Francis was offering the ballpark $8 million for the Jones confirming instead of money. Does anyone really want to see him get KO'd by a top boxer? I mean, he probably does get knocked out by those guys like Wilder or Fury or whatever, but he probably makes more than $8 million too. I mean, it's a lot of money, obviously, but I think he probably does make more in boxing. Whose stock do you think dropped most at Vegas 67? Ooh, good question. Great question. I always like that question, Marcus. I think Damon Jackson for sure getting knocked out after being on a roll is not good for him. I mean, had he wanted to get that fight, he'd be in the top 15. I also think Barcelos getting knocked out is tough for him too. I mean, obviously he's a tough dude, and getting knocked out like that is not a good look. And then I guess Soriano too. I mean, also again getting knocked out. Now he's lost 3 of the last 4. So I guess those guys. But
what about Imavov?
Imavov too, but but I mean, it was a short notice fight. It wasn't the opponent he prepared for.
You know what it is, Adam.
Yeah,
Imavov fought Buckley, and he lost that third round, I think, or didn't look good in the third round. And now we saw again that he has cardio issues, and Strickland as well in the later rounds, but he really took it on 4 days' notice, pretty much,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think Imavov also kind of lost some stock here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. Any other questions, guys? We'll take a few more, and then we're going to start a new podcast and do the preview for UFC 283. But we'll take a few more questions. Anything else that you want to talk about, Marcel, that happened on the weekend? I'm trying to think of, really, that was the big news, right?
Edwards Usman.
Oh, and that's official too. Oh yeah, and Gaethje Fiziev. Oh, can't wait for that fight. The odds are up for that one, and
that's a good question by Glenn, by the way. There.
I just want to see the odds for that fight. Where's the odds for that? I know they came out. Now they're not there anymore. What the hell? Maybe they changed them. I don't know, but I saw that Fizzy was the dog at first. That doesn't make sense. He should be the favorite. Oh yeah, we forgot we'll talk about this. Eubanks and Cachoeira the fight didn't happen. I think Eubanks gets cut for sure because this is not the first time this happened, right?
Bro, why do they keep making her fight at 125? Let's be really honest. When she came in the Ultimate Fighter, she had difficulties with dropping weight. Okay. Then the final. She got pulled from the final against against Nico Montano because she couldn't make the weight. Now she got pulled from the fight, and it happened before that she didn't make weight. Why does she keep fighting at 125? Make her fight at 135.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
I don't know either. I really don't know. Not sure. Anything else, guys? Anything else? Oh, sorry. There's a question here. It's not George. Pick one. Francis or Jones. You can't have both. Ooh. It's tough because, again, Jones is the best fighter ever, but he's also kind of a dick. And you got Francis, who's just like a really nice guy, but, doesn't want to be there. So I guess Jones, because he actually wants to apparently be there, and Francis didn't. But they're both great talents. There's no doubt. And, Francis should be – Jones will be in the Hall of Fame. I think Francis should be a Hall of Famer too when it's all said and done. I don't know if he will be now because him and Dana don't like each other, it seems like, but what do you think, Marcel? You look at his resume. It's amazing. Like, he really has an amazing resume. He's beaten almost every of the elite heavyweights.
I kind of agree.
The only one he didn't beat was Jones. And Jones isn't even really a heavyweight. So
he said he didn't took anything personal, Francis, and he said maybe he will come back one day. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, there's a couple more questions.
Can I reply to Joe Eagle?
Yeah, you can. He says Imavov had good cardio, I guess, in the 5th round. Yeah, because he did win the 5th round.
He did, but Sean's cardio kind of went back as well, So I'm still not convinced, you know what I mean? So I agree that he won the 5th round, but still his cardio wasn't good, And Sean's also not good, but okay,
Yeah. Fight talk. I'm going to make graphic referencing guys' picks for the Saturday card. Okay, sounds good, man. We're going to do it in the next podcast, though, so just stick around because we're going to start a new one in a few minutes here. Just going to get these last few questions. We'll start a new one. If Jones gets the belt, then does he go another 7-fight run like heavyweight, like light heavyweight coming to Greece heavyweight all time? I mean, maybe, but he'd have to beat like Stipe, Blades, Gone. It's going to be a gauntlet. I don't know. I mean, he signed a new 8-fight deal apparently, but this first fight will tell us a lot because he might get smoked, but he also might win too. So it's very intriguing. Can you guys agree on a 2 or 3 leg parlay for next video? I'll try to do that with Marcel. We haven't talked about it before, but we'll try to do that. Dana may personally gone with Dana weren't in charge anymore. Maybe Francis stays, possibly. Yeah, Francis Jones would have been such a legacy fight for both. It's true. It would have been such a great fight. Most fighters moving up 10, 20 pounds, 60 could be a real issue for Jones moving his stamina. I agree. Do you think the bigger UFC cage would be better for Neil fighting Shavkat? That's interesting too. Probably. I do think Shavkat's going to try to grapple him though. Either way, so. I think Pavlich beats him. I mean, Pavlich is a beast. All right, let's end this podcast, Marcel. We'll start the new one up. We'll do the preview UFC 283. Excuse me. So, guys, follow me on Twitter at MMAdamMartin, him Big Marcel 24, bookies.com, MMAnews.com, MMAOddsbreaker.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, guys. We're going to start up a new one here in just about a minute. So just give me a sec. I'll tweet it out and we'll break down UFC 283 for you guys. Talk to you in a few minutes. Bye.